Samsung Group is a South Korean multinational conglomerate company headquartered in Samsung Town, Seoul. It comprises numerous subsidiaries and affiliated businesses, most of them united under the Samsung brand, and is the largest South Korean chaebol. Samsung was founded by Lee Byung-chul in 1938 as a trading company. Over the next 3 decades the group diversified into areas including food processing, textiles, insurance, securities and retail. Samsung entered the electronics industry in the late 1960s and the construction and shipbuilding industries in the mid-1970s. These areas would drive its subsequent growth. Following Lee's death in 1987, Samsung was separated into 4 business groups: Samsung Group, Shinsegae Group, Subsidiaries Group and Hansol Group. Since the 1990s Samsung has increasingly globalized its activities, and electronics, particularly mobile phones and semiconductors, have become its most important source of income. Notable Samsung industrial subsidiaries include Samsung Electronics, Samsung Heavy Industries, and Samsung Engineering and Samsung C&T. Other notable subsidiaries include Samsung Life Insurance, Samsung Everland, Samsung Techwin and Cheil Worldwide. Samsung has a powerful influence on South Korea's economic development, politics, media and culture, and has been a major driving force behind the Miracle on the Han River. Its affiliate companies produce around 1/5 of South Korea's total exports. Samsung's revenue was equal to 17% of South Korea's $1,082 billion GDP. In 2013, Samsung began construction on building the world's largest mobile phone factory in the Thanh Nguyen province of Vietnam. Name: according to the founder of Samsung Group, the meaning of the Korean Hanja word Samsung is Tristar, or 3 stars. The word 3 represents something big, numerous and powerful. The stars mean eternity. History, 1938 to 1970. In 1938, Lee Byung-chul of a large landowning family in the Wirelong County came to the nearby Daegu city and founded Samsung Sanu, a small trading company with 40 employees located in Sudong. It dealt in groceries produced in and around the city and produced its own noodles. The company prospered and Lee moved its head office to Seoul in 1947. When the Korean War broke out, however, he was forced to leave Seoul and started a sugar refinery in Busan named Cheil Jedang. After the war, in 1954, Lee founded Cheil Magic and built the plant in Chimsandong, Daegu. It was the largest woolen mill ever in the country and the company took on the aspect of a major company. Samsung diversified into many areas and Lee sought to help establish Samsung as an industry leader in a wide range of enterprises, moving into businesses such as insurance, securities, and retail. President Park Chung-hee placed great importance on industrialization, and focused his economic development strategy on a handful of large domestic conglomerates, protecting them from competition and assisting them financially. In 1947, Cho Hong-ji jointly invested in a new company called Samsung Mulsan-gongsa, or the Samsung Trading Corporation, with the Samsung Group founder Lee Byung-chul. The trading firm grew to become the present-day Samsung C&T Corporation. But after some years Cho and Lee separated due to differences in management between them. He wanted to get up to a 30% group share. After settlement, Samsung Group was separated into Samsung Group and Hansol Group, Hankook Tire, and others. In the late 1960s, Samsung Group entered into the electronics industry. It formed several electronics-related divisions, such as Samsung Electronics Devices, Samsung Electromechanics, Samsung Corning, and Samsung Semiconductor and Telecommunications, and made the facility in Suwon. Its first product was a black-and-white television set. 1970 to 1990. In 1980, Samsung acquired the Gumi-based Hornjik and Tongxian and entered the telecommunications hardware industry. Its early products were switchboards. The facility were developed into the telephone and fax manufacturing systems and became the center of Samsung's mobile phone manufacturing. They have produced over 800 million mobile phones to date. The company grouped them together under Samsung Electronics in the 1980s. After Lee, the founder's death in 1987, Samsung Group was separated into four business groups: Samsung Group, Shinsegae Group, CJ Group, and the Hansol Group. Shinsegae was originally part of Samsung Group, separated in the 1990s from the Samsung Group along with CJ Group and the Hansol Group. Today these separated groups are independent and they are not part of or connected to the Samsung Group. One Hansol Group representative said, "Only people ignorant of the laws governing the business world could believe something so absurd," adding, "When Hansol separated from the Samsung Group in 1991, it severed all payment guarantees and shareholding ties with Samsung affiliates." One Hansol Group source asserted, "Hansol, Shinsegae, and CJ have been under independent management since their respective separations from the Samsung Group." One Shinsegae department store executive director said, "Shinsegae has no payment guarantees associated with the Samsung Group." In the 1980s, Samsung Electronics began to invest heavily in research and development, investments that were pivotal in pushing the company to the forefront of the global electronics industry. In 1982, it built a television assembly plant in Portugal. In 1984, a plant in New York. In 1985, a plant in Tokyo. In 1987, a facility in England. And another facility in Austin, Texas, in 1996. As of 2012, Samsung has invested more than $13 billion in the Austin facility, which operates under the name Samsung Austin Semiconductor. This makes the Austin location the largest foreign investment in Texas and one of the largest single foreign investments in the United States. 1990 to 2000, Samsung started to rise as an international corporation in the 1990s. Samsung's construction branch was awarded a contract to build one of the two Petronas Towers in Malaysia, Taipei 101 in Taiwan and the Burj Khalifa in United Arab Emirates. In 1993, Lee Kun-hee sold off 10 of Samsung Group's subsidiaries, downsized the company, and merged other operations to concentrate on three industries: electronics, engineering, and chemicals. In 1996, the Samsung Group reacquired the Sungkyunkwan University Foundation. Samsung became the largest producer of memory chips in the world in 1992, and is the world's second largest chipmaker after Intel. In 1995, it created its first liquid crystal display screen. 10 years later, Samsung grew to be the world's largest manufacturer of liquid crystal display panels. Sony, which had not invested in large-sized TFT LCDs, contacted Samsung to cooperate, and, in 2006, SLCD was established as a joint venture between Samsung and Sony in order to provide a stable supply of LCD panels for both manufacturers. SLCD was owned by Samsung and Sony and operates its factories and facilities in Tangjung, South Korea. As of December 26, 2011, it was announced that Samsung had acquired the stake of Sony in this joint venture. Compared to other major Korean companies, Samsung survived the 1997 Asian financial crisis relatively unharmed. However, Samsung Motor was sold to Renault at a significant loss. As of 2010, Renault Samsung is 80.1% owned by Renault and 19.9% owned by Samsung. Additionally, Samsung manufactured a range of aircraft from the 1980s to 1990s. The company was founded in 1999 as Korea Aerospace Industries, the result of merger between then three domestic major aerospace divisions of Samsung Aerospace, Daewoo Heavy Industries, and Hyundai Space and Aircraft Company. However, Samsung still manufactures aircraft engines and gas turbines. 2000 to 2014. In 2000, Samsung opened a computer programming laboratory in Warsaw, Poland. Its work began with set-top box technology before moving into digital TV and smartphones. As of 2011, the Warsaw base is Samsung's most important R&D center in Europe, forecast to be recruiting 400 new hires per year by the end of 2013. In 2001, Samsung Techwin became the sole supplier of a combustor module for the Rolls-Royce Trent 900 used by the Airbus A380, the world's largest passenger airliner. Samsung Techwin is also a revenue-sharing participant in the Boeing 787 Dreamliner Genx engine program. In 2010, Samsung announced a 10-year growth strategy centered around 5 businesses. One of these businesses was to be focused on biopharmaceuticals, to which the company has committed a copyright $2.1 trillion. In December 2011, Samsung Electronics sold its hard disk drive business to Seagate. In the first quarter of 2012, Samsung Electronics became the world's largest mobile phone maker by unit sales, overtaking Nokia, which had been the market leader since 1998. In the August 21 edition of the Austin American-Statesman, Samsung confirmed plans to spend $1 billion converting half of its Austin chip manufacturing plant to a more profitable chip. The conversion should start in early 2013 with production online by the end of 2013. On March 14, 2013, Samsung unveiled the Galaxy S4. On August 24, 2012, 9 American jurors ruled that Samsung had to pay Apple $1.05 billion in damages for violating 6 of its patents on smartphone technology. The award was still less than the $2.5 billion requested by Apple. The decision also ruled that Apple did not violate 5 Samsung patents cited in the case. Samsung decried the decision, saying that the move could harm innovation in the sector. It also followed a South Korean ruling stating that both companies were guilty of infringing on each other's intellectual property. In the first trading after the ruling, Samsung shares on the Kospi Index fell 7.7%, the largest fall since October 24, 2008. To 1,177,000 Korean won. Apple then sought to ban the sales of 8 Samsung phones in the United States, which has been denied by the court. On September 4, 2012, Samsung announced that it plans to examine all of its Chinese suppliers for possible violations of labor policies. The company said it will carry out audits of 250 Chinese companies that are its exclusive suppliers to see if children under the age of 16 are being used in their factories. In 2013, a New Zealand news outlet reported a number of Samsung washing machines spontaneously catching on fire. The corporation is expected to spend $14 billion on advertising and marketing in 2013, with publicity appearing in TV and cinema ads, on billboards, and at sports and arts events. In November 2013, the corporation was valued at $227 billion. On May 22, 2014, Samsung announced Samsung Music will be shutting down on July 1, 2014. This spells the disappearance of Samsung Music Hub. Acquisitions and attempted acquisitions. Samsung has made the following acquisitions and attempted acquisitions. Rollei, a Euro-Swiss watch battle. Samsung Techwin acquired a German camera maker Rollei in 1995. Samsung used its optic expertise on the crystals of a new line of 100% Swiss-made watches, designed by a team of watchmakers at Nouvelle Picaras SA in Bassecourt, Switzerland. Rolex's decision to fight Rollei on every front stemmed from the close resemblance between the two names and fears that its sales would suffer as a consequence. In the face of such a threat, the Geneva firm decided to confront. This was also a demonstration of the Swiss watch industry's determination to defend itself when an established brand is threatened. Rolex sees this frontline battle as vital for the entire Swiss watch industry. Rolex has succeeded in keeping Rollei out of the German market. On March 11, 1995, the Cologne District Court prohibited the advertising and sale of Rollei watches on German territory. Fokker, a Dutch aircraft maker, Samsung lost a chance to revive its failed bid to take over Dutch aircraft maker Fokker when other airplane makers rejected its offer to form a consortium. The 3 proposed partners Euro Hyundai, Hanjin, and Daewoo Euro notified the South Korean government that they would not join Samsung Aerospace Industries. AST Research. Samsung bought AST and tried to break into North America, but the effort was unsuccessful. Samsung was forced to close the California-based computer maker following mass defection of research staff and a string of losses. FUBU Clothing and Apparel. In 1992, Damon John had started the company with a hat collection that was made in his house in the Queens area of New York City. To fund the company, John had to mortgage his house for $100,000. With his friends J. Alexander Martin, Carl Brown, and Keith Perrin, half of his house was turned into the first factory of FUBU, while the other half remained as the living quarters. Along with the expansion of FUBU, Samsung invested in FUBU in 1995. Lehman Brothers Holdings, a Euro-unregistered trademark Asian operations. Samsung Securities was one of a handful of brokerages looking into Lehman Brothers Holdings. But Nomura Holdings has reportedly waived the biggest check to win its bid for Lehman Brothers Holdings, a Euro-unregistered trademark Asian operations, beating out Samsung Securities, Standard Chartered, and Barclays. Ironically, after a few months, Samsung Securities Company, Limited and City of London-based N.M. Rothschild & Sons have agreed to form a strategic alliance in investment banking business. Two parties will jointly work on cross-border mergers and acquisition deals. Medis & Company, Limited. A Euro ultrasound monitors. In December 2010, Samsung Electronics bought Medis & Company, a South Korean medical equipment company, the first step in a long-discussed plan to diversify from consumer electronics. Grandis Incorporated. A Euro memory developer. In July 2011, Samsung announced that it had acquired spin transfer torque random access memory vendor Grandis Incorporated. Grandis will become a part of Samsung's R&D operations and will focus on development of next-generation random access memory. Samsung and Sony joint venture, a Euro LCD display. On December 26, 2011, the board of Samsung Electronics approved a plan to buy Sony's entire stake in their 2004 joint liquid crystal display venture for $1.08 trillion. M-Spot, Incorporated, a Euro music service. On May 9, 2012, M-Spot announced that it had been acquired by Samsung Electronics with the intention of a cloud-based music service. The succeeding service was Samsung Music Hub. NVELO, Incorporated. A Euro cash software developer. In December 2012, Samsung announced that it had acquired the privately held storage software vendor NVELO, Incorporated, based in Santa Clara, California. NVELO will become part of Samsung's R&D operations, and will focus on software for intelligently managing and optimizing next-generation Samsung SSD storage subsystems for consumer and enterprise computing platforms. Neurologica, a Euro portable CT scanner. In January 2013, Samsung announced that it has acquired medical imaging company Neurologica, part of the multinational conglomerate Euro unregistered trademark S, plans to build a leading medical technology business. Terms of the deal were not disclosed. Operations. Samsung comprises around 80 companies. It is highly diversified, with activities in areas including construction, consumer electronics, financial services, shipbuilding, and medical services. In FY 2009, Samsung reported consolidated revenues of 220 trillion South Korean won. In FY 2010, Samsung reported consolidated revenues of 280 trillion South Korean won, and profits of 30 trillion South Korean won. However, it should be noted that these amounts do not include the revenues from all of Samsung's subsidiaries based outside South Korea. Subsidiaries and affiliates. As of April 2011, the Samsung Group comprised 59 unlisted companies and 19 listed companies, all of which had their primary listing on the Korea Exchange. Principal subsidiary and affiliate companies of Samsung include Aster G-Tech. Aster G-Tech is listed on the Korea Exchange Stock Exchange. Cheil Industries. Cheil Industries is listed on the Korea Exchange Stock Exchange. Cheil Worldwide. Cheil Worldwide is listed on the Korea Exchange Stock Exchange. Cruddu. Cruddu is listed on the Korea Exchange Stock Exchange. eMarket Korea. eMarket Korea is listed on the Korea Exchange Stock Exchange. Samsung Card. Samsung Card is listed on the Korea Exchange Stock Exchange. Samsung SDS. Samsung SDS is a multinational IT service company headquartered in Seoul. It was founded in March 1985. Its principal activity is the providing IT system, ERP, IT infrastructure, IT consulting, IT outsourcing, data center, Samsung SDS is the Korea's largest IT service company. It achieved total revenues of 6,105.9 billion won in 2012. Samsung C&T Corporation. Samsung C&T Corporation is listed on the Korea Exchange Stock Exchange. Samsung Electromechanics. Samsung Electromechanics, established in 1973 as a manufacturer of key electronic components, is headquartered in Suwon, Gyeonggi-do, South Korea. It is listed on the Korea Exchange Stock Exchange. Samsung Electronics. Samsung Electronics is a multinational electronics and information technology company headquartered in Suwon and the flagship company of the Samsung Group. Its products include air conditioners, computers, digital televisions, liquid crystal displays and active matrix organic light-emitting diodes, mobile phones, monitors, printers, refrigerators, semiconductors, and telecommunications networking equipment. It is the world's largest mobile phone maker by unit sales in the first quarter of 2012, with a global market share of 25.4%. It is also the world's second largest semiconductor maker by 2011 revenues. Samsung Electronics is listed on the Korea Exchange Stock Exchange. Samsung Engineering. Samsung Engineering is a multinational construction company headquartered in Seoul. It was founded in January 1969. Its principal activity is the construction of oil refining plants, upstream oil and gas facilities, petrochemical plants and gas plants, steel-making plants, power plants, water treatment facilities, and other infrastructure. It achieved total revenues of 9,298.2 billion won in 2011. Samsung Engineering is listed on the Korea Exchange Stock Exchange. Samsung Everland. Samsung Everland engages in an array of services closely associated with the day-to-day lives and business operations of its customers. Its business scope covers the three main sectors of environment and asset, food culture, and resort. Since its inception in 1963 and the launch of theme park Everland in 1976, Samsung Everland has steadily built its presence across the markets of golf, building management, food and beverage, energy, and environment. Through this process, Samsung Everland has managed to achieve its current market standing. As a corporation trusted by the local community and renowned globally as a pioneer in the infrastructure of life, Samsung Everland strives to help its customers lead fulfilling lives and achieve success in their business operations by building the infrastructure for every aspect of life including entertainment, culinary, and business. Samsung Fine Chemicals. Samsung Fine Chemicals is listed on the Korea Exchange Stock Exchange. Samsung Fire and Marine Insurance. Samsung Fire and Marine Insurance is a multinational general insurance company headquartered in Seoul. It was founded in January 1952 as Korea Anbo Fire and Marine Insurance and was renamed Samsung Fire and Marine Insurance in December 1993. Samsung Fire and Marine Insurance offers services including accident insurance, automobile insurance, casualty insurance, fire insurance, liability insurance, marine insurance, personal pensions and loans. As of March 2011 it had operations in 10 countries and 6.5 million customers. Samsung Fire and Marine Insurance had a total premium income of $11.7 billion in 2011 and total assets of $28.81 billion on March 31, 2011. It is the largest provider of general insurance in South Korea. Samsung Fire has been listed on the Korea Exchange Stock Exchange since 1975. Samsung Heavy Industries. Samsung Heavy Industries is a shipbuilding and engineering company headquartered in Seoul. It was founded in August 1974. Its principal products are bulk carriers, container vessels, crude oil tankers, cruisers, passenger ferries, material handling equipment, steel and bridge structures. It achieved total revenues of 13,358.6 billion won in 2011 and is the world's second largest shipbuilder by revenues. Samsung Heavy Industries is listed on the Korea Exchange Stock Exchange. Samsung Life Insurance. Samsung Life Insurance Company, Limited is a multinational life insurance company headquartered in Seoul. It was founded in March 1957 as Dongbang Life Insurance and became an affiliate of the Samsung Group in July 1963. Samsung Life's principal activity is the provision of individual life insurance and annuity products and services. As of December 2011, it had operations in 7 countries, 8.08 million customers and 5,975 employees. Samsung Life had total sales of 22,717 billion won in 2011 and total assets of 161,072 billion won at December 31, 2011. It is the largest provider of life insurance in South Korea. Samsung Life Insurance is listed on the Korea Exchange Stock Exchange. Samsung Machine Tools. Samsung Machine Tools of America is a national distributor of machines in the United States. Samsung GM Machine Tools is the head office of China, it SSMEC legal incorporated company. Samsung Medical Center. The Samsung Medical Center was founded on November 9, 1994, under the philosophy of a Euro-E contributing to improving the national Euro-unregistered trademark S health through the best medical service, advanced medical research, and development of outstanding medical personnel. The Samsung Medical Center consists of a hospital and a cancer center. The hospital is located in an intelligent building with floor space of more than 200,000 square meters and 20 floors above ground and 5 floors underground, housing 40 departments, 10 specialist centers, 120 special clinics, and 1,306 beds. The 655-bed cancer center has 11 floors above ground and 8 floors underground, with floor space of over 100,000 square meters. SMC is a tertiary hospital manned by approximately 7,400 staff including over 1,200 doctors and 2,300 nurses. Since its foundation, the Samsung Medical Center has successfully incorporated and developed an advanced model with the motto of becoming a patient-centered hospital, a new concept in Korea. Samsung SDI. Samsung SDI is listed on the Korea Exchange Stock Exchange. On December 5, 2012, the EU's antitrust regulator fined Samsung SDI and several other major companies for fixing prices of TV cathode ray tubes into cartels lasting nearly a decade. Samsung Securities. Samsung Securities is listed on the Korea Exchange Stock Exchange. Samsung Techwin. Samsung Techwin is listed on the Korea Exchange Stock Exchange. Shilla Hotels and Resorts. The hotel opened in March 1979, following the intention of the late Lee Byung-chul, the founder of the Samsung Group. Hosting numerous state visits and international events, it has played the role of locomotive for the service industry in Korea with pride and responsibility as the face representing the Samsung Group, and the hotel representing Korea. The Shilla maintains elegance and a tradition of winning guests a Euro-unregistered trademark hearts with the aim of becoming the best hospitality company. By joining LHW, it is on par with the most luxurious hotels in the world. Meanwhile, it has added modernistic design elements on top of the roof called Tradition, thus going through changes to make itself a premium lifestyle space. In addition, with its know-how as a service company in the background, it started a duty-free shop business, and has built its image as the best global distribution company. Also, it is expanding its business into commissioned management of fitness facilities with 5-star hotels in Korea and abroad as well as into the restaurant business. The Shilla promises to be a globally prestigious hospitality company that offers the best value for money by making creative innovations and continuously taking on challenges. Shilla Hotels and Resorts is listed on the Korea Exchange Stock Exchange. S1 Corporation. S1 was founded as Korea Euro-unregistered trademark S first specialized security business in 1997 and has maintained its position at the top of industry with a consistent willingness to take on challenges. S1 Corporation is listed on the Korea Exchange Stock Exchange. Joint ventures. At Grain, state-run Korea Agro-Fisheries Trade Corporation set up the venture, At Grain Company, in Chicago, with 3 other South Korean companies. Korea Agro-Fisheries owns 55% of At Grain, while Samsung C&T Corporation, Hanjin Transportation Company and STX Corporation each hold 15%. Brooks Automation Asia Company, Limited is a joint venture between Brooks Automation and Samsung which was established in 1999. The venture locally manufactures and configure vacuum wafer handling platforms and 300 mm front-opening unified pod load port modules, and designs, manufactures and configures atmospheric loading systems for flat panel displays. POSCO Samsung Slovakia Steel Processing Center, Company POSSA Euro SLPC SRO. Was founded in 2007 as a subsidiary of Samsung C&T Corporation, Samsung C&T Deutschland and the company POSCO, Samsung Air China Life Insurance. Samsung Air China Life Insurance is a 50-50 joint venture between Samsung Life Insurance and China National Aviation Corporation. It was established in Beijing in July 2005. Samsung Biologics, Samsung Electronics Company and Samsung Everland Incorporated will each own a 40% stake in the venture, with Samsung C&T Corporation and Durham, North Carolina-based Quintiles each holding 10%. It will contract make medicines made from living cells, and Samsung Group plans to expand into producing copies of biologics including Rituxan, the leukemia and lymphoma treatments sold by Roche Holding AG and Biogen Iduc Incorporated. Samsung Bioepis is a joint venture between Samsung Biologics and the US-based Biogen Iduc. In 2014, Biogen Iduc agreed to commercialize future anti-TNF biosimilar products in Europe through Samsung Bioepis. Samsung BP Chemicals is a 49-51 joint venture between Samsung and the UK-based BP, which was established in 1989 to produce and supply high-value-added chemical products. Samsung Corning Precision Glass is a joint venture between Samsung and Corning, which was established in 1973 to manufacture and market cathode ray tube glass for black and white televisions. The Campania Euro unregistered trademark S-First LCD glass substrate manufacturing facility opened in Gumi, South Korea, in 1996. Samsung Sumitomo LED Materials is a Korea-based joint venture between Samsung LED Company, Limited, an LED maker based in Suwon, Korea-based and the Japan-based Sumitomo Chemical. The JV will carry out research and development, manufacturing, and sales of sapphire substrates for LEDs. Samsung Thales Company, Limited is a joint venture between Samsung Techuan and the France-based aerospace and defense company Thales. It was established in 1978 and is based in Seoul. Samsung Total is a 50-50 joint venture between Samsung and the France-based oil group Total SA. SB Lemotive is a 50-50 joint company of Robert Bosch GmbH and Samsung SDI founded in June 2008. The joint venture develops and manufactures lithium-ion batteries for use in hybrid, plug-in hybrid vehicles and electric vehicles. SD Flex Company, Limited was founded on October 2004 as a joint venture corporation by Samsung and DuPont, one of the world's largest chemical companies. Sermatech Korea owns 51% of its stock, while Samsung owns the remaining 49%. The U.S. firm Sermatech International, for a business specializing in aircraft construction processes such as special welding and brazing. Samsung Life Insurance holds a 37% stake while the Saha Group also has a 37.5% stake in the joint venture, with the remaining 25% owned by Thanicut Bank. Siltronic Samsung Wafer Pte Limited, the joint venture by Samsung and wholly owned Wacker Chemie subsidiary Siltronic, was officially opened in Singapore in June 2008. SMP Limited is a joint venture between Samsung Fine Chemicals and MEMC Electronic Materials Incorporated and an affiliate of Korean conglomerate Samsung are forming a joint venture to build a polysilicon plant. STECO Company is the joint venture established between Samsung Electronics and Japan's Toray Industries in 1995. STEMCO. STEMCO is a joint venture established between Samsung Electromechanics and Array Industries in 1995. Toshiba Samsung Storage Technology. Toshiba Samsung Storage Technology Corporation is joint venture between Samsung Electronics and Toshiba of Japan, which specializes in optical disk drive manufacturing. TSST was formed in 2004, and Toshiba owns 51% of its stock, while Samsung owns the remaining 49%. Defunct, Alpha Processor. In 1998, Samsung created a U.S. joint venture with Compaq Euro called Alpha Processor Incorporated, to help it enter the high-end processor market. The venture was also aimed at expanding Samsung's non-memory chip business by fabricating Alpha processors. At the time, Samsung and Compaq invested $500 million in Alpha Processor. GE Samsung Lighting. GE Samsung Lighting was a joint venture between Samsung and the GE Lighting subsidiary of General Electric. The venture was established in 1998 and was broken up in 2009. Global Steel Exchange. Global Steel Exchange was a joint venture formed in 2000 between Samsung, the US-based Cargill, the Switzerland-based Dufoco Group, and the Luxembourg-based Tradiabt, to handle their online buying and selling of steel. SLCD. SLCD Corporation was a joint venture between Samsung Electronics and the Japan-based Sony Corporation, which was established in April 2004. On December 26, 2011, Samsung Electronics announced that it would acquire all of Sony's shares in the venture. Partially owned companies. Atlas NTICO Sul. Samsung Heavy Industries owns 10% of the Brazilian shipbuilder Atlas NTICO Sul, whose Atlas NTICO Sul shipyard is the largest shipyard in South America. The João Candido, Brazil's largest ship, was built by Atlas NTICO Sul with technology licensed by Samsung Heavy Industries. The companies have a technical assistance agreement through which industrial design, vessel engineering, and other know-how is being transferred to Atlas NTICO Sul. DGB Financial Group. Samsung Life Insurance currently holds a 7.4% stake in the South Korean banking company DGB Financial Group, making it the largest shareholder. Corning Incorporated. Samsung acquired 7.4% of Gorilla Glass maker Corning, signing a long-term supply deal. Doosan Engine. Samsung Heavy Industries currently holds a 14.1% stake in Doosan Engine, making it the second largest shareholder. Korea Aerospace Industries. Samsung Techuin currently holds a 10% stake in Korea Aerospace Industries. Other major shareholders include the state-owned Korea Finance Corporation, Hyundai Motor and Doosan. MEMC Korea. MEMC's joint venture with Samsung Electronics Company, Limited. In 1990, MEMC entered into a joint venture agreement to construct a silicon plant in Korea. Pantech. Samsung buys 10% stake in rival phone maker Pantech. Rambus Incorporated. Samsung currently owns 4.19% of Rambus Incorporated. Renault Samsung Motors. Samsung currently owns 19.9% of the automobile manufacturer Renault Samsung Motors. Seagate Technology. Samsung currently owns 9.6% of Seagate Technology, making it the second largest shareholder. Under a shareholder agreement, Samsung has the right to nominate an executive to Seagate Euro unregistered trademark's board of directors. Sharp Corporation. Samsung owns 3% of the rival company. Sungjin Geotech. Samsung Engineering holds a 10% stake in Sungjin Geotech, an offshore oil drilling company that is a subsidiary of POSCO, Taylor Energy. Taylor Energy is an independent American oil company that drills in the Gulf of Mexico based in New Orleans, Louisiana. Samsung Oil and Gas USA Corporation, subsidiaries of Samsung, currently owns 20% of Taylor Energy. Wacom. Samsung owns 5% of the company. Major customers. Major customers of Samsung include Royal Dutch Shell. Samsung Heavy Industries will be the sole provider of liquefied natural gas storage facilities worth up to $50 billion to Royal Dutch Shell for the next 15 years. Shell unveiled plans to build the world's first floating liquefied natural gas platform. At Samsung Heavy Industries shipyard on Gowaj Island in South Korea, work is about to start on a ship that, when finished and fully loaded, will weigh 600,000 tons, the world's biggest ship. That is 6 times larger than the largest U.S. aircraft carrier. United Arab Emirates government, a consortium of South Korean firms, including Samsung, Korea Electric Power Corporation, and Hyundai, won a deal worth $40 billion to build nuclear power plants in the United Arab Emirates. Ontario government. The government of the Canadian province of Ontario signed off one of the world's largest renewable energy projects, signing a deal worth $6.6 billion for an additional 2,500 MW of new wind and solar energy. Under the agreement, a consortium led by Samsung and the Korea Electric Power Corporation will manage the development of 2,000 MW worth of new wind farms and 500 MW of solar capacity, while also building a manufacturing supply chain in the province. Logo. The current Samsung logo design is intended to emphasize flexibility and simplicity while conveying a dynamic and innovative image through the ellipse, the symbol of the universe and the world stage. The openings on both ends of the ellipse where the letters S and G are located are intended to illustrate the company's open-mindedness and the desire to communicate with the world. The English rendering is a visual expression of its core corporate vision, excellence in customer service through technology. The basic color in the logo is blue, which the company has employed for years, symbolizing stability, reliability, and corporate social responsibility. Audio logo. Samsung has an audio logo, which consists of the notes A unregistered trademark, or unregistered trademark, DA unregistered trademark, A unregistered trademark. The audio logo was produced by Musikvergnaden and written by Walter Assauer. Samsung Medical Center. Samsung donates around $100 million per annum to the Samsung Medical Center, a non-profit healthcare provider founded by the group in 1994. Samsung Medical Center incorporates Samsung Seoul Hospital, Kangbuk Samsung Hospital, Samsung Changwon Hospital, Samsung Cancer Center and Samsung Life Sciences Research Center. The Samsung Cancer Center, located in Seoul, is the largest cancer center in Asia. Samsung Medical Center and pharmaceutical multinational Pfizer have agreed to collaborate on research to identify the genomic mechanisms responsible for clinical outcomes in hepatocellular carcinoma. Sponsorships. Samsung sponsors Bundesliga club Bayern Munich. Samsung are the current sponsors of Premier League football club Chelsea. They also sponsor English Football League One clubs Swindon Town and Leyton Orient. Samsung, which started as a domestic sponsor of the Olympics in Seoul 1988, has been a worldwide Olympic partner since the 1998 Winter Olympics. Samsung operating many sports clubs, Football Club Suwon Samsung Blue Wings, Baseball Club Samsung Lions, Basketball Club Seoul Samsung Thunders, Volleyball Club Daejeon Samsung Fire Bluefangs and etc. Samsung also sponsors a former StarCraft Brood War and current StarCraft II professional gaming team named Samsung Khan. Samsung has sponsored the teams since 2000. Samsung Electronics spent an estimated $14 billion more than Iceland on registered trademark SGDP on advertising and marketing in 2013. At 5.4% of annual revenue, this is a larger proportion than any of the world unregistered trademark's top 20 companies by sales. Samsung became the world's biggest advertiser in 2012, spending $4.3 billion, compared to Apple's $1 billion. Samsung's global brand value of $39.6 billion is less than half that of Apple. Controversies. Financial scandals. In 2007, former Samsung chief lawyer Lee Byung-chul claimed that he was involved in bribing and fabricating evidence on behalf of the group's chairman Lee Kun-hee and the company. Kim said that Samsung lawyers trained executives to serve as scapegoats in a fabricated scenario to protect Lee, even though those executives were not involved. Kim also told the media that he was sidelined by Samsung after he refused to pay a $3.3 million bribe to the U.S. Federal District Court judge presiding over a case where 2 of their executives were found guilty on charges related to memory chip price fixing. Kim revealed that the company had raised a large amount of secret funds through bank accounts illegally opened under the names of up to 1,000 Samsung executives under his own name. 4 accounts were opened to manage 5 billion won. Antitrust concerns. You can even say the Samsung chairman is more powerful than the president of South Korea. Korean people have come to think of Samsung as invincible and above the law, said Woo Suk-hoon, host of a popular economics podcast, in a Washington Post article headlined "In South Korea, the Republic of Samsung," published on December 9, 2012. Critics claim that Samsung knocked out smaller businesses, limiting choices for Korean consumers, and sometimes colluded with fellow giants to fix prices while bullying those who investigate. Lee Byung-chul, a South Korean presidential candidate, said in a debate, Samsung has the government in its hands. Samsung manages the legal world, the press, the academics and bureaucracy. Viral marketing. The Fair Trade Commission of Taiwan is investigating Samsung and its local Taiwanese advertising agency for false advertising. The case was commenced after the commission received complaints stating that the agency hired students to attack competitors of Samsung Electronics in online forums. Samsung Taiwan made an announcement on its Facebook page in which it stated that it had not interfered with any evaluation report and had stopped online marketing campaigns that constituted posting or responding to content in online forums. References. External links, official website.